From KUNC and the NPR network, this is In The NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. When it comes time to decorate for the holidays, for many people, a beautiful Christmas tree is the most important part. And some people simply don't want to let their Christmas tree go. So they bring a live potted tree into their home and then move it to the yard after the holidays to enjoy for years to come. Now, if that sounds like your kind of Christmas, our guest today has some tips to make it a reality. John Mergel is a horticulture specialist with Colorado State University Extension. He's been a guest on In The NoCo before to talk about all kinds of tree care. He spoke with us about how to turn a potted Christmas tree into a forever tree in your yard. So, John, for those of us who have never gone the route of a live potted tree before, can you explain a little bit about how this works? Do I go and dig up my own tree in the forest?
So typically, no. And in fact, it's your Christmas tree permit will let you cut one down, but not to collect one. So if you're planting a live Christmas tree, you're going to be buying a potted tree from a nursery. Or if you know someone with private land that doesn't mind you digging up a tree, I suppose you could go that route. That would take a lot of planning and coordination.
Yeah.
And I think buying a tree would be easier.
Right. And we want to make sure we get that right so it doesn't just turn brown and die in the yard. What kind of trees work best as indoor potted trees?
So for the holiday season, most people prefer an evergreen. Mm-hmm. And if the tree is potted and alive, some of the considerations that you might have for a cut Christmas tree become less relevant. Spruce trees, for example, make famously terrible Christmas trees because they are so prone to losing their needles relatively quickly.
Oh.
So a potted spruce could be a better option if you really want, say, that Colorado blue spruce as your Christmas tree. But other popular candidates include pine trees and fir trees, especially for their fragrant foliage.
Oh, yeah. Love that scent. So you go to a nursery and they have a tree that's dug up, roots and all, and it's in a container?
Exactly. So these are the same trees that you would be purchasing for planting in the landscape. That's really what they're for. You're simply taking advantage of their portability to use it as a Christmas tree during the holiday season.
Okay.
There are some considerations you need to bear in mind if you're going to take that plan, though, to make sure that you can transition successfully outdoors.
Yeah. And let's talk about how the temperature affects a potted pine tree. I'm curious what is happening to the tree when it goes from living outside in the winter to then being inside a heated home.
Basically, the tree is launched into an early springtime. So once those tissues are exposed to the warmer temperatures inside, the tree is waking up and preparing for that flush of spring growth. That only takes a few days. So most folks that I know keep a tree in the house several weeks through the holiday season. Got people putting it up, the day after Thanksgiving and leaving it up till after New Year's. That's plenty of time for the tree to come out of dormancy and even to initiate springtime growth processes. Oh. If you then put that tree back outside, it could very well be, and is almost guaranteed to be, damaged by wintry weather. Because once it's out of dormancy, it's no longer able to stand up to those cold temperatures.
And I'm one of those people that puts it up the day after Thanksgiving and leaves it up through, let's say, mid-January.
Sure, yeah.
John, I assume that just as with a cut tree, you need to make sure a live tree gets watered. What other things do you need to do to care for this tree while it's in the house?
So water is the number one thing you need to be aware of. Trees indoors, even especially cut trees, but these potted trees too, once they are moving water through their bodies, take a lot of water. Could be like a quart a day. I've even seen some folks claim up to a gallon a day of water. Mm-hmm. Depends on the size of the tree, but you got to be making sure that you're filling the tree stand or watering the pot. With potted Christmas trees, you're not going to have a huge tree simply because the volume of soil you need is going to be a little bit much to bring into the house. One way to check if the tree needs water is to do it by weight. Try to heft the tree. If you can lift it up as one person, it's very dry. Oh. But you can assume you're going to need to at least check on that tree once a day.
Okay.
The colder you can keep the tree, so if you close the heater vents around it, if you keep it in a sunroom, that's an unheated sort of 3-season room, that can all prolong the life of the tree and help keep it happiest through the season.
Okay, so keep it watered, keep it cool. Now, once the holidays are over, John, it's time to take that potted tree and plant it outside in the cold. What needs to happen to make sure that the tree will thrive in my yard?
Sure. So the first consideration is the shorter you can keep it inside, the better. But assuming that it's been in there the month of December, you need to reacclimate that tree to cold temperatures. This is going to take some time. And what it means is gradually exposing that tree to colder temperatures, essentially making that tree believe, if you will, that it's just experienced the shortest growing season of all time. And it's
Right.
fall again, and it's time to go back to sleep.
Okay.
You can do that by putting the tree in the garage where it stays cool. If you've got an unheated shed, certainly protect the tree from freezing for the first several days of this.
Okay.
If you've got the space in the trees relatively easy to move, you could move it outdoors during the day, bringing it inside at night and gradually exposing it again to cooler and cooler temperatures. Finally, you look for that stretch of 5 or 6 days where the temperatures are only dipping into the high 20s or low 30s at night. Leave the tree outdoors over those, and then you can leave it outdoors all around once you've given it another fall. And that's one of the drawbacks to a potted tree that is really an outdoor tree, is that it does take some time to reacclimate it to be able to successfully transition it to life outdoors in the yard.
Well, finally, John, I was talking to a friend about this potted tree idea. They thought I sounded a little bonkers with this. As a tree expert, do you think this is a crazy idea?
It's not crazy, but it's not for everyone. And I think that the two considerations that I would make sure everyone has really pondered before you launch into potted tree is the difficulty in reacclimating the tree. So it is a commitment to keep the tree alive and to healthily put it back into dormancy. The second consideration, especially if you like this idea and are saying to yourself, I'm going to do that every year, so that eventually you're going to run out of space because these trees at mature size are going to be large, and most residential yards already have landscaping. And so if you're planning to plant essentially a conifer a year for the next couple decades, you could be starting your own local Christmas tree farm sort of by accident.
Whether you want to or not.
Right.
John Mergel is a horticulture specialist with Colorado State University Extension. We'll have more information on using live potted trees for the holidays in our show notes and at KUNC.org. And if you have other plant-related questions you'd like us to explore with the CSU Extension folks, drop us a line. Email noco@KUNC.org. That's NOCO@KUNC.org. And if you missed one of our past conversations, or you want to revisit or share an episode, you can find all of our ITN interviews at KUNC.org or on your favorite podcast app. That's it for us today on In the NoCo. I'm Erin O'Toole. Thanks so much for listening.